Some days, being everything to everyone feels impossible. But what if it's intentional? Today, we're gonna talk about just that, something close to my heart. How being a wife, a mom, and a dreamer aren't competing roles. They're actually all a part of your calling. Grab your coffee and your mindset. This is your Coffee Time Monday. If you're new here, welcome to Hellenistique, where we blend mindset, motivation, and hybrid productivity to help you live intentionally, one small step at a time. Q4's theme is gratitude and vision, so let's keep that in mind as we chat. Real talk moment. The mental tug of war between showing up for them and showing up for yourself. My real life schedule of time blocks are loosely in my control and mostly dependent on my family's schedule. Let me explain. All right, in front of us, we have two planners. One is the Sterling Ink Common Planner for 2025-2026 academic, full year, in the size A5. And then on to the right, we have the personal planner, personal rings that I love. And I am back in this rings for good, you guys. This is really happening for me. So I'm using it in this Louis Vuitton personal binder. And I am not babying it by any means. It is completely just used like that. So it is what it is. Okay, so before we go in here, let's take a look at this because I want to share with you what an actual schedule looks like planned versus what it actually ends up happening throughout the day and throughout the week. It took me many, many years to be okay with dealing with this type of issue because I am like a control freak. And whatever is planned is what needs to be done. But in my scenario, having a big, large family and having so many different hats to wear throughout the week, it is absolutely difficult to follow to the T how I planned my week. But how I'm using this planner in the vertical weeklies is that I make sure on every reset, I do this, and we go over this in our reset videos. I brain dump everything in different sections and different hats that I wear, if you will. And then I time block the non-negotiables, which are like the actual schedules, like pick up my kids, drop off my kids, their lesson times. I mean, they need me to give them rights. So those are non-negotiables for me. And also then I would block out time for my work schedule. Now, here's where it gets really tricky because I work from home. Nothing is in my control. Just because I highlighted the areas in gray, which identifies as work time, it doesn't mean that that is fully how it's going to play out during the week. Therefore, I have to be very careful. And through the years, I've learned to be more careful and mindful about, let's put it this way, planning out too many tasks in a week because a lot of the times these hours are not actual hours that I'm able to work. So it is what it is because one of my calling, again, you guys, is my kids, my family. And as a mother, I have to be there for my kids when they need me. So in case my kids, all of a sudden, I didn't realize that they had an early dismissal day, I all of a sudden have to go pick them up early. And that would be around 12 or 1. And therefore it cuts an hour and a half of my time short from work hours. It happens, and it happens quite frequently, I will say, but it is what it is. And I still am loving the way I'm using the layout to time block, but also loving that it's not always as planned, like we're an AI, but actually there are things that pop up and it's okay. So it took me a long time, however, to be okay with that because these 2 days, I didn't plan to have rest days those 2 days after I came back from Hawaii, and it ended up being rest days. And so that cut 2 full days of work time away from everything. And so, yeah, obviously I had tasks that were having to be delayed. And of course, you know, they weren't fire tasks, so it was okay. I took care of some of the fire tasks even during those days. But outside of that, I really couldn't work on anything until Wednesday is when I reset. And you guys probably watched that video last Friday, and I skipped the Monday coffee video because I did my reset on Wednesday. And sometimes you got to be okay with that because I am important too. My calling is also to take care of me, right? And make sure that I am doing well. And so that's what we needed to do. And that's okay. So that was another example. Another example that I want to share is like the Hawaii trip. So yes, we planned out all these things, but some of these things got moved around. We had to reschedule some things, and I didn't even write down some of the things that we ended up doing spontaneously during the Hawaii trip, and that's okay too because it was a vacation, so that was okay as well. This is where I was trying to create somewhat of a schedule and working different hats, and like the different hats that I wear throughout the week are signified in different colors here, but it just was not feasible because let's say I give myself like these green hours for one of my companies. What ends up happening is someone is sick, or I need to go pick up a kid, or something pops up, my child needs my help to do something real quick while they're in school and I'm at home, I'm gonna do that. So when I do that, it takes away the time, and that's okay. Sometimes meetings run late, and that's okay too. Although I love my meetings to be at the max 30 minutes long, sometimes they run longer because we have to discuss further details, and that's okay too. Just being that flexible self has always been the biggest obstacle in my life, biggest struggle in my life, but also it is something that I absolutely needed to conquer and be okay with. So these are just some of the pages and how I use them to time block. Primarily, I'm using these weekly pages to time block my week because every week's gonna fluctuate a little bit just depending on my kids' schedules and my travel schedules, my husband's schedules. And so I always wanna know a big picture of what this week looks like. And then from there, it'll move around the times and the hours. This is also a very crucial part in accommodating to all the different hats that I wear throughout the week. What it is just being able to separate each hat that I wear. Even within the same company, if you're doing your social media, you're posting social media, that's marketing, right? If you're doing business CEO tasks, like work admin tasks, those are CEO tasks. Different functions, even within one company, I would separate it into hats. Now, I couldn't do all of that, but I did separate it into companies. So that's how I have it here. And then I have the home actually separated into 4 categories, which is the self-development side, the personal side, and then the home, like the actual physical home, and then the family. So this is like where the kids and my husband, all of them, my mom, when they need me, that's what I would do. So I brain dump all the things, and I also take it down from Notion. I have always a list this long in Notion in every single day. And so I like to look at it during my reset points, to look at it and then also brain dump the important things, put out the fire, which are the urgent ones, and then also the very important tasks that I want to pay attention to, that is like non-negotiable, move the needle type of task. Then I circle them. So I know exactly what I'm dealing with during the week. If something goes south and we are not allowed to work Thursday and Friday, let's say, my non-negotiables will have to be worked on Saturday and Sunday. That's how I look at it. That's how important my non-negotiable move the needle tasks are to me, these circled ones. So for instance, if you look at my weekly, excuse this, this is not a non-negotiable, so I still have receipts in here that I have to take care of from the last reset. Here is my weekly. So if you look at this, I have all my habits here, the weekly schedule at a glance, because once I've done this during the reset, I close this up for the rest of the week until Friday or Saturday or Sunday when I do the next reset. I'm only looking at this and my Notion. So how I look at this is I set up the weekly like this once I have done this, and I go in, I have some real ideas. Now I'm coming back to Instagram, so I'm doing some real ideas here, some things that I'm waiting on that I want to pay attention to. And then I've broken down my 4 categories of personal life, which are the self-development, personal, family, and home, YouTube, shop. So these are the businesses that I'm taking care of. And so from there, what I'm doing is I am taking the non-negotiable circle tasks and putting them in here. Very recent. It's like still hot off the printer type of thing. Because last week I was using these, and these are in the members files. So go grab these. This is not in the members file, obviously, because it has my personal like company names and things, but I can certainly clear this out, have it blank for you guys so you guys can try to use this. I'll include this in the members file sometime this or next week. What is important is I am taking down just those non-negotiables that are gonna move the needle towards my ultimate vision life. So that is so incredibly important to have the blueprint for your vision, your 5 to 10 year from now vision, like your absolute, like this is how I want to be living, this is how I'm supposed to be living, this is where I'm supposed to be at, and talking to these type of people and treating my family this way, going on these types of vacations, living in this type of a house, having this much money in my bank account, and being able to give back this much. And so that is your ultimate vision. Now, on a quarterly basis, as you guys know, I always do the quarterly resets, which is very crucial because it plays a big portion into how I look at things, tasks, or projects as they come up to align with my quarterly objectives, which is ultimately in alignment with my 5 to 10 year vision. If you look at it that way, moving the needle is so important instead of just working on those reactive tasks all day. Like things happen, the sprinkler is broken, so now you have to call someone to fix that sprinkler. That's a reactive task. Versus the tasks I'm talking about here are moving the needle forward towards living out my best life in that vision blueprint. That's what I'm working on here. These are non-negotiables. This is Monday morning and I've already crossed off some of them. Just letting you know, this is so crucial in the way we identify the week and how we plan out the week. Because how many times do you feel from week to week, month to month, year to year, feel like you haven't moved the needle? I'm sure you have, even just a little bit, because nothing goes to waste. But imagine if you just put it on paper or put it into mind that moving the needle for you is that important because you see a blueprint of your life. And then now you're moving towards it every single day, every single week, month, quarter, year towards that. It makes a difference in how you live your life. It makes a difference in the amount of energy you have waking up in the morning to do things. And it makes a difference every time you go on vacation for a reset where you're able to reset and absorb and think things through. Hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, let me know. So that is how I'm using my binder as well as the sterling ink. Now let's go back. Reframe the guilt or overwhelm. Motherhood and marriage don't cancel out your dreams. They anchor them. Every season refines a different part of your calling. Your dreams don't have to wait until life is calm. They grow in the chaos. As you saw in my planner, nothing is in my control, but then at the same time, everything is in my control. Here's a quote that comes to mind. The calling is not one thing, it's the harmony of everything you're called to be. What I want to say here is because we are strong, we can do it all. Yes, it's a lot, but you have to see the beauty in taking actions to your calling. The main difference between a successful person and an unsuccessful person is simply put, someone who knows what they're supposed to do and what they're called for, but they just don't take actions. So here are the 3 C's of calling. Connection. Stay grounded in your why and identify one negotiable per role each week. All other tasks will be dealt with in a timely manner, but these non-negotiables are what will move the needle for you, and that's where your energy and focus should be throughout the week until it's checked off. Compassion. Give yourself grace for the imperfect days. Release perfection. It will continue to weigh you down if you don't. 3. Consistency. Keep showing up, even in micro moments. In my case, there are days where I can only get a few things checked off, but one of them will always be my non-negotiable. Even if it wasn't completely checked off, there was progress. Also, tiny hack here, merge your worlds instead of separating them. Letting your kids see you build your dreams is one of the most powerful lessons you can teach them. All right, before we go further, let's do a quick journaling prompt. Where do I feel most torn between my roles, and what truth do I need to remind myself of in that moment? Are you guys ready for the challenge of the week? This week, honor all parts of your calling. So I'm gonna give you some quick to-do tasks, but it's gonna require some thinking. So make sure to have a moment where you can pause and take the time to really think things through in these tasks. Let me know in the comments below if you've completed these and how that made you feel. The first task, Take a few minutes this week to write down what your ultimate dream life looks like, the blueprint of your life as you see it in the next 5 to 10 years from now. Next, break it down into 5 to 10 key milestones, major progress markers that will get you there. Another powerful way to think about this is imagine yourself 5 to 10 years from now, looking back. What milestones would you have hit each year to become that person? Finally, write yourself a commitment letter. Think of it as a promise from present you to the future you, a declaration of life you're building and the woman you're becoming. Include your dream life vision, your key milestones, and most importantly, the daily choices and mindset shifts you're committing to. Make it personal, make it powerful, and revisit it whenever you need a reminder of where you're headed. The key is to write a clear, precise action plan, like a business plan that includes your objective, your why, your how, and your when. If you want a free template I've created using my own commitment letter, check out the link below in the description box for your very own copy. This will for sure help you prioritize and think things through as you do this exercise. If this inspired you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join me again for Coffee Time Monday or the next hybrid productivity reset on Friday. Remember, your small steps matter. Bye.